and it's the newest addition to my cat family. This is Morgan. Say hi, Morgan. Hi, say hi, baby. Yes, and she is named after, I don't know why she wanted to come up here, but yes, she is named after Morgan Stark, because that's just the way that I roll. But we are taking a look at the new Hot Toys MMS 619 of the 1/6 scale Carnage from Venom Maximum Carnage. And this is one I was super excited about and could not wait, and finally, here it is. Both Venom and Carnage are favorite characters of mine from the Spider-Man franchise. Alright, and here we are again. And while I have not yet gotten Venom, that one is on my list. I just wanted to get this one first because we might not get to see a Carnage figure again. It's definitely possible that we'll get another Venom one when that future Venom movie comes out, whatever that's going to be, with Tom Hardy and all that rumors and stuff like that. But this I wanted to get as quickly as possible, just because, like I said, we don't know if we're going to get another Carnage figure. But packaging wise, amazing. This thing is huge. I have to do my pull back camera lens thing here, so I do apologize for all the junk on the side, and she's just gonna chill there. So precious. Look at you. But gorgeous art on here. You can see that Carnage looks gruesome and hideous looking, and it definitely appears that this is an image, at least from the film, CGI or whatever, but you got the ugly drool going there. You can see little tiny tendrils throughout the entire thing. Come around to the side. She's going to get in the way. You can see that his tongue and his weapons kind of carry on, and you got a very nice glossy image with it. So that is absolutely gorgeous. Same thing going on here. I do believe that I saw at least images where you can combine these two boxes and have Venom and Carnage as kind of like a art look, but gorgeous image of Carnage up there. This is a slip sleeve style cover, but when you come around to the actual box, they did things a little bit different. This is an image of the actual figure. You can see Carnage, Venom fighting right there, which is absolutely amazing. Again, another gorgeous image of that headshot, a more pullback image of him, says Carnage right there. Come around to the side, it's just kind of this white box going all the way around, and then the front here, obviously Carnage, with him exploding in his symbiote sort of look. But again, come around to this side, gorgeous image of him right there. But like I said, they did things a little differently. This actually opens, and you can see on the inside here, I'm knocking stuff down, you can see that you have his accessories and a couple different things. You've got the figure here, you got the display stand, some other accessories on the back, and then a lot of his hand accessories right here. Very elaborate what they did with this box, and I like it. It utilizes a lot of space, but really for me, the best part of the packaging, get this back inside there, really is this slip sleeve section. Getting that back, that is just absolutely gorgeous how that looks. Extremely well done, and absolutely captures that slimy, vicious look that Carnage, and Venom as well, but Carnage in particular really do have. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let there be carnage. And here we have the new 1/6 scale Carnage from Venom, Let There Be Carnage, opened up and out of his packaging. And initially at the beginning part of the video, I think I said that this was from Maximum Carnage, which that's the wrong thing. I clearly had the old video game on my mind. Played that game, hit the thumbs up button. Let me see how many of you old guys are out there. But starting off first, he does come with an instruction sheet. There is a lot of information on here because this guy has a lot going on. But it talks about how you swap out his head, his tongue, the range of motion that he has. And then when you come around to the back, you got all the accessories and how they attach to him. One other piece that you have right here that is not included in this set is the alternate Eddie Brock / Venom portrait that the MMS 600 comes with. But that costs like an extra $65 or something and is only meant to go along with that Venom figure. Specifically, the one that came out from the first movie. The Let There Be Carnage version of him automatically comes with this new portrait. So if you already had that Venom and you didn't want to get the new one, you can buy this version with that extra head and use it for Venom. But because I plan on getting that Let There Be Carnage Venom, I didn't need to get that, so I saved myself some money. But they do have that included in the instructions here, and then they do talk about the different tendrils on here and how they're not removable, and you should be careful when you're kind of handling them. But this guy comes with a ton. I mean, this is a fairly expensive release, and in my opinion is actually well worth it. Starting off honestly, I don't even know where to start with this. There is so much here. He comes with, let's start with the back section here. He comes with these absolutely gorgeous tendrils. You can really see the detail. Let me come in so you can really see it. There is a gloss to this, a rubberiness to this that gives it, again, that very slick and grotesque look all the way throughout. Now you can see that there are 3 different ones, and it attaches to his back, and I like how they got this little soft rubbery section here that kind of makes it very easily spread out on his back, so it looks very natural. Now with this, you're going to use a lot of not these. These are all the hand ones. You're going to use a lot of what's right here, because this attaches to a back, and then you got these little sections right here. Then you could take any one of these and peg it on there, and you create all these different tendril style weapons that can emanate from the back of the figure. It's also really nice how this is a bendy wire. Now there's a plastic section right here and a plastic section right here that you can kind of feel is separate, but you can still wrap these around him. So this is going to go around to his back, and you can form this all the way around towards the front of the figure, especially like with all these different stabbing sort of weapons, really creating a massive display. And that is ultimately the kind of word of choice with this. This is a massive, massive figure and massive release. So you do get that one with the 3. You get another one here with 2, and again, same amount of detail. You can see one is longer than the other, but all of these are interchangeable. You just have it kind of coated where there's a little edge section that makes it slip in. So like when you go like this part right here won't slide in unless you kind of key it into the right spot. So kind of push that there and then rotate that around till you get it, and then kind of squeeze that in there. And then again, you're going to plug this into the back. You're going to wrap these around, and you're going to have all these different stabby sort of weapons, which I absolutely love it. I mean, one thing that Carnage always loved doing in the comics was stabbing people, and he used these sort of things quite often. So you get that set with the 2. You get another set with 2 with the tendrils that are about equal length, but still a little bit slightly different. But again, still great detail. It is rubbery, though, like I said, and I would imagine that they have the little air holes throughout there, so that hopefully over time it doesn't damage this or anything. But time will tell. We'll see. But again, look how huge that is. Really quite impressive. And then you get one that is just all by his little tiny self, and makes it sad. But these all, like I said, are going to attach to the back of him, and I'll show how to do that here later on. But all of these are, they look like giant sausage sticks, but this is really cool, and I love how there's 4 of them. However, while they plug into 4 different spots, you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actual tendrils that come out from his back. That is amazing. And now, like I said, all of these bits over here are used with those tendrils. They cannot use, or they cannot be used on any of the other hands. These are all meant to be extensions of those tendrils on his back. But coming in to take a closer look at this, again, gorgeous shine on there, giving it a very wet and organic look. Paint detail wise is very nice. You can see there's a darker element throughout it, but the sculpt work is incredible. Even when you look at the little tendons throughout there and the little gaps, really very nice. So you have this little scythe looking thing. This is just basically a little serrated blade of sorts, but again, same detail with the coloring and the texture. That glossiness looks amazing. This one I really like, how it kind of looks like it's just spinning around and creating this little spiral sort of stabbing weapon. I mean, that is, again, absolutely fantastic. You have another one that is kind of like that scythe, but a little bit more slender looking. But again, same detail with the bits kind of forming around to create those very rigid elements. This one right here is... all of these are super cool, but you got a whole bunch of little spikes throughout this entire thing. And again, really fun to kind of look at that. And you have a lot of play options. This one also is a little bit different than what we got with some. All of them are completely different, but you can see that there's a similarity between all of them, which is awesome. This right here is a little bit more of that spiky kind of thing. Kind of looks like his fingers are coming out to these points. Same great color, same great detail. You have this one that is just a thicker kind of spear with the little spikes down towards the base. Then you have this one, which has these multiple sort of blade elements coming out in kind of a similar sort of look, as you can see, but there's a trio of them. So it's like really gouging you. And then this one is just random and spiky. It's like there's just this mace sort of thing with the spikes that go pya and stick right out. I mean, absolutely incredible looking. A lot of great detail on here. And like I said, the fact that you can use these with all those standard, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 of these. And like I said, you got 8 of those arms. So you can pretty much display all of those and not have any identical looks to it, which is really very cool. You also do get these extra wrist pegs that are going to go on his wrists themselves, and you can see that these are far larger and substantial than we got with normal ones. But you also do have these larger hand accessories, or the hand/arm accessories. This giant piece right here, again, amazing detail, amazing texture. It has a wet look to it, which absolutely blows my mind. This actually plugs into his elbow. I thought at first it was going to be a shoulder, but no, it's his elbow. And then you just see the little post right there that will plug right into that section right there, which I'll show you how to do that here in a little bit as well. But again, an extension of kind of what we were getting with these. This is coming out from the giant tendril that is his arm. And again, the gorgeous detail with the holes, the darker elements, the glossy paint, really very nice. You also do get this one, which also is going to attach to his forearm, but this is a giant version of like this scythe sort of thing. He loves these daggers, he loves these blades, and that's definitely the case here as well. And as it's coming out of a larger thing like his arm, it makes sense that this would be larger as well. But same type of thing, you got the different tendrils connecting all the different pieces, like a slime or an ooze element, the darker coloring. The red gives it a very incredible sort of textured look to it, which is outstanding. And then you get some actual hand pieces. Now this one is one that you probably could use to kind of hold on to something, like if you wanted, I mean, like it's not going to work with this, but like if you wanted, they're softer ish, but not really fully soft. I'm just using his other head. But like if you wanted to have him hold on to it, I mean, you could do something clearly like that. But I mean, again, absolutely love it. And you got the finger look, which is really neat. And then, like I said, this is going to attach to the wrists right here. They are softer, so they are a little bit more malleable, but they're not kind of rubbery or anything like what we saw on those tendrils themselves. You have this here. These are both right and left hand. So this is the right hand. This is the left hand. But again, not identical. Very similar looking. Well, are they identical? They might be identical now that I'm kind of looking at it. Yeah, these kind of look exactly the same. You just got a right and left hand version of it, which that's okay. I mean, I shouldn't be too terribly picky, but they have a little bit more of that natural hand look like what he has on the figure itself. So you can replace those and have a very cool look to it. But you also do get this alternate portrait with his mouth open. And again, the detail on this is, coming back in, is absolutely spectacular. I mean, again, the dark element on there, which looks really cool. You got the red throughout there. The eyes, which have a little bit of this pearlescent sort of look to it. And then the little red edges around there. Amazing. And then these teeth. They are Sharpie, so be careful with them. But that looks incredible as well. I mean, super incredible. You got the stretchiness here with the little red kind of on the underside. Absolutely gorgeous. And he comes with, now you notice that he doesn't have a tongue, but you got that open mouth. They include 3 different tongues that are all magnetically attached, which work beautifully. So you don't have to have a hole in there, but you can just stick that in there, and now you have a little bit more of that classic look with this tongue. And because it's a magnet, you can kind of rotate it around in different sort of configurations for the most part, but this is the shortest version of it. The next would be this guy, sticking that in there. And again, you can kind of rotate that around as it's a pretty strong magnet, so it doesn't really feel like it's needed to be in one particular place, although I think it's designed for that position. But you can, like I said, kind of rotate that around, and that is super wickedly awesome. And then you have the longest one right there, and again, you can move that around as you see fit as well. And like I said, I kind of feel like it's meant to be right there, but you know, play with it, have fun with it. Not literally, because that would be gross, but I don't know which one I'm going to go with. I mean, that tongue is like kind of curly and stuff, but even when you look at the detail on here, I mean, you can see the different levels of detail on there with like the taste buds and everything. I mean, like the little serrations right on the side, all of them have that. And the only way that this could have been better is if they actually did have saliva kind of dripping from it, or maybe a little bit more of a clear coat on there to give it a little bit more of that sort of slimy kind of look. I mean, the shininess is definitely there, but if they added a clear coat to it, maybe even a little bit thicker of a clear coat, it really would have shown wetness. Just a personal preference, but I love that. I mean, absolutely iconic for these symbiotes, and gruesome looking as it should be for Carnage. Absolutely, without a doubt, spectacular. Spectacular. And then finally, he does come with the display base. You can see that it's got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. You got this glossy element here that, again, you could probably line that up side by side. When I get Venom, I'll find out if it's kind of mirrored, but it would be cool if this is Carnage facing one way, and if you have the Venom one, if it was facing that way. That would be kind of cool to see. You do have this Carnage logo on there. I have the little, is that the, yeah, there's a little bit, I think there is a little bit of a thing, or maybe not, it's just really rough looking on there, which looks cool, kind of like blood splatter almost. But this is, if I'm not mistaken, a quarter scale base, which makes sense for this guy because he is close to 17 inches tall, so it makes sense to include this. And I like the fact that they use this little stabilizer thing here instead of a crotch grabber, so that you can take this, you can put this here, and you can angle that up, so that's going to help him stand on that base very nicely and not have to worry about having like that waist grabber around there, which could potentially damage the rubber around the body. But again, only time will tell. This guy is really heavy though too. So for his accessories, that's about it. He comes with a ton, and honestly, in my opinion, combining what you get with the figure, which I haven't even talked about yet, and all of his accessories, including the ones that are here, it's rare that I say it, but I feel like they could have charged more for this guy. just based on all the accessories that you get and how almost all of them are big accessories. Now, coming in to take a closer look at them, again, the same level of intense detail that all those accessories have shown are replicated as well here in the actual figure and his body. Starting off first with that head sculpt, absolutely gorgeous looking, great detail with the eyes, the different textures, the teeth having a very dirty look to them, unbelievable. And again, what I love about this is that it is also magnetic. So if you want to swap it off, literally, you just pop that on there, and now you have that very iconic look for him, which is just amazing. I really do love it. One thing that I will say, though, is that a lot of this upper body is that rubbery material. So it's also rubbery up here. Now, you got a little felt pad on the bottom, but to kind of prolong that, I definitely wouldn't just rotate it. I would kind of pick it up and position it where you're going to want it to be, just to kind of reduce the friction and wear and tear on that rubbery section that's up there at the top of his neck. But they did a great job here in terms of capturing that very wet look throughout him, especially here with this rubber. There's a very nice glossy paint on here, a little bit more than on the arms, as you can see. The arms have it, it's just not as wet looking as the majority of his body. You can see that he's got these little extra tendrils that come off from out there. You do want to be careful, as the instructions do kind of indicate, that these could get caught on something and damage. Come around to the back of them. And now, I was actually mistaken. I thought that those long kind of back tendrils, you'd be able to use all 4 of them. You can't. There's only 3 holes for it, and it's kind of hard to see. They did a great job of blending them in. You can kind of see it right there. You just kind of hide it like that, but it kind of hides very well. Now, this does get, I'm going to take his tongue off, which is going to sound weird to say, but you just come around here and just kind of wedge your finger in there, pull that out. Let's see, this one, you can feel the rubber and then the hard plastic of it, so it makes it easy to kind of find it. Not all that easy to actually get removed from him. You kind of have to use your fingernail, and I don't like doing that with the rubber right next to it. It just kind of makes me a little bit nervous, but there we go. There, you can kind of feel, there we go. So you're going to pull that one out, and then you have this one right down here. This one is definitely tricky to get to because it's like in his spine. So kind of get your fingernail in there. Just kind of feel that groove, and maybe kind of just spread. There we go. Spread the. I got an idea. I have these little guitar picks that I specifically bought to be able to do this kind of stuff. So let's see. Here we go. Kind of wedge that in there. Wait, there we go. Wedge that in there. So now it's not my fingernail doing it, but it's this little. No, that didn't work. So let's try that on this side, because clearly I know what I'm doing. There we go. Pop that out. But that, like I said, that does get a little bit tricky because of the edge right there. But you have those 3 holes that you can now use those back things with. So literally then you can come around here. You got this little post right here. And again, like I said, this is a softer material, which does a real good job of blending in. So you just literally just find that little section there. You can see that it's kind of done up in a little semicircle. Plug that in there. And then that totally looks like it is emanating from his body. That is super cool how they did that. Really impressive. And then taking these, I'm just going to kind of wrap these around. Just get them out of the way. And we'll play with that here in just a sec. And then we're going to take this one. I grabbed the one with the 3. So again, you just take that. Fold that there. Kind of line that up. Find the special key area. That's it. Okay, there we go. Come on. So just slot that in like that. Get the little bits kind of going on. Again, that is so cool how that is. And then let's bring that around there. Let's bring this one around. This one can kind of come around this way as well. And then make sure you get that all the way in. I feel like that's kind of, I feel like some of these kind of push out a little bit. So just kind of be careful as you're doing it. But just bring that around, and you can see what's basically happening here and how you're really creating that very classic look that he has. Let me come back a little bit so we can see everything. And then just for kind of uniformity's sake, I'm going to bring out the one that has the 1. Because I got 3 over here and I got 2 over there, so I'm going to peg that one in there. It does get a little bit tricky because, like I said, they're very close to each other, so they kind of push up against each other when you put them in the body. So that maybe that's a negative, I think. Just the sheer fact that you don't get these in here completely flush to the body, and that's I can't really see what I'm doing in there, so that makes it even more tricky to do. So hold on. Okay. All right, here we go. So there you see all the... He almost looks like Armored Spider-Man with all those things coming out of him. But like I said, really cool look. And then you can manipulate these kind of how you want to. Getting him to stand here. Actually, I feel like I should bring out his display stand. It's a little bit easier because he does get very heavy. And you don't want this to fall down. There we go. Oh, that's great. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to just armor this guy up. So let's take some of these. I like this one. You're gonna plug that right in, right there. Oh, this is gonna look super cool. All right, let's put this one up here. How freaking awesome is that? Oh man, that is really ridiculously awesome. And like I said, you can really kind of mix and match, and you still have a couple other ones that you can do. So even though that you can't use that other tendril that I was showing you about, yeah, you do have a lot of other options with this guy, which that is super cool. As I said, one of the things that I would probably kind of say as a negative is that these, once you get them in there, like it feels like it's not all the way pushed to the body because of how close these all are. So that is definitely a negative, I would say, but it's manageable. It's not terribly bad. And then, of course, you're going to want to replace these little back pieces. So, again, just find the little way that they're kind of keyed. Put that in there. Actually, which there. And then, again, you just kind of fit that rubber section around there, and then that closes that off very, very nicely. Now, for the other accessories, obviously, his hands, that's a fairly easy sort of thing. I feel like this pole could be a little bit longer as well. But, all right, getting them there. Now, these are going to attach, like I said, to his elbows. So what you want to do, very carefully, because you got all these little pieces on here. Well, that's going to come off. Just kind of pull that off as best as you can. Oh, and there goes his head. All right, but you do have these pieces, so it does make it a little bit difficult to put these off. And that was kind of pokey. So then take this, and then you insert this. Now this, I don't even know how I would display this with, because this is such a massive piece. And gotta put a head back on there. That thing is huge. But amazing looking. I mean, realistically, that is a super cool look for him. And then again, you can take this piece right here and you can attach this to his other arm if you wanted to. Or conversely, you can take this hand, you can detach that, and then you can pull out one of these gruesome hands. Peg that in there, give that a good push, and you'll feel it actually kind of lock into place to a degree. Let's kind of, sort of. There we go. So that, yeah, that's not in there nearly as well as it needs to be. There we go. So you do something like that with them. I mean, you have so many different options with this guy that it is so fun to kind of just get creative when you're thinking about your poses and how you want him to actually look. Honestly, the sky's the limit when you use your imagination with this particular release. I'm really quite impressed with what they were able to do with him. Getting all this stuff in there. Now, for his articulation, one thing that is definitely noticeable is that because of the rubbery suit on him, there are some limitations that he does have. I already talked about the neck section here. Now, nothing, I mean, like this does have a ratchet joint in there, so you can articulate that and bend that down, so you can get a lower sort of look for him if you really wanted to do that. So I like the fact that they put that in there. The shoulders here, these have the regular range of motion, but there's also this little butterfly joint there, so they can rotate back and forth and then all the way around, which is nice to see. The elbows have that same joint that we're fairly used to, and you get a good range of motion with that. Same thing on this other side. Now, the wrist itself, you have that same big ball joint. You can angle that around and articulate that. But there is a bit of an exposed ball section here that you can see. The actual elbow has it as well. Not nearly as bad, though, as I feel like wrists do. So just keep that in mind as you're going around and trying to create your poses and stuff, that you're probably going to want to try to hide that as best as you can. The waist section here, it does have, as you can hear, a waist ratchet, which is nice, and then you also do have a diaphragm. But because this is a rubbery material, again, I don't know how comfortable I would feel leaving it in an exaggerated pose for a terribly long time. I probably am not going to. Now, when you come around to the butt, though, this is kind of funny. So you have his hips here that do move forward, they move back, they move in and out, all that fun stuff. But when you move the leg forward, his butt doesn't go along with it. And you have this, and it's a rubbery piece, but that looks weird, honestly. But it is what it is, I suppose. It does have a rotation up here as well. The knee does bend. It does also... Does that rotate? No, it doesn't. Wait, I feel like the knee doesn't. Yeah, the knee doesn't even seem like it rotates. So all the movement that you're going to get is going to be up here in the thigh area, and the waist area. Come down to the ankles. Those are all ball joints, so you can get a good range of motion with that. It's kind of like the wrist joints, so you can kind of move things around. So lots of articulation in the guy, but it is limited, and you're not going to be able to get a ton of different poses with the guy, but you'll be able to get enough to kind of pull off a cool battle pose with him and Venom, I suppose, or maybe even Spider-Man. And since I don't have Venom yet to compare this guy to, we are going to have to just use good old Spider-Man for a comparison. So how about I do that? Let's get him standing here, because as I said, at 17 inches tall, this guy's big. He's definitely bigger than he was in the comics. He was kind of always described and depicted as kind of this short sort of dude. He's definitely bigger in the films, even bigger than Venom, and Venom is supposed to be fairly massive. But let's take a look and see how he looks next to Spider-Man. And I know that these guys are kind of not in the same universe just yet, but here is Spider-Man. That is a insane size difference. And we all have seen kind of the ending credits of a bunch of different films that really shows that Venom and Spider-Man from the MCU are going to be locking heads at some point in time. So if that's the case, then he's technically in the same universe. And why, for me, this is going to be my display. Now, a lot of times I do my best to shy away from using labels like Figure of the Year, because I review a ton of figures, and all of them fall on some kind of spectrum for greatness. Some are a little bit further down than others. But what Hot Toys has done here with Carnage really puts this guy on this side of the spectrum, towards greatness. Personally, I really liked the film Let There Be Carnage. Could it have been better? Yes. One of my biggest kind of nitpicks was that Carnage wasn't vicious enough. He killed, at least in the comics, for the hell of it. And it was always extremely gruesome. I've said this time and time again that Let There Be Carnage really should have been an R-rated movie, and probably would have turned out way better than it did. But regardless of how you feel about the film, the figure of Carnage turned out incredibly well. Hot Toys did a terrific job with this release, capturing the look, the feel, and the variety that this character really has. All these individual spear and kind of bladed weapons like this really do help to add to the uniqueness of this particular character, and therefore the release itself. This guy is grotesque in all the right ways. The only way that I feel like this one could get better would be having his counterpart, Venom, displayed next to him, which for me will be coming fairly soon, and I can't wait. Ultimately, I cannot recommend this guy enough to you. If you are a Spider-Man, this is absolutely a piece that I would add to your collection. Regardless if you're a fan of that Let There Be Carnage film, Carnage as a character is really, by this point in time, iconic of a villain when it comes to Spider-Man as Doc Ock or even the Goblin. Now, all that being said, if this Carnage figure is one that you would like to add to your collection, he is available right now on places like Big Bad Toy Store. For that, I'll put a link right down there in the video description where you can swing on over there and check out availability on him, as well as the rest of the wide range of Hot Toy figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, and until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.